Hi everybody, my name's James Downs and I'm an assistant professor and also head of the Politics and Public Administration program at Hong Kong Metropolitan University. Populism is a really complex political term that's often misunderstood. In recent times, we may think of famous populist politicians, such as Donald Trump in the United States, Boris Johnson in the United Kingdom, or Bojo for short, Viktor Orban in Hungary, or even famous populist events such as the landmark Brexit referendum in 2016. Populism can be classified as a form of anti-establishment politics. Simply put, populism is an anti-establishment form of politics, whereby populist politicians claim to represent the pure people against the corrupt elite. However, the corrupt elite is a rather unclear term. Populists often claim that the corrupt elite include national governments or international organizations such as the European Union, or even economic elites such as big banks in modern society that seek to take power away from the ordinary pure people. Now, populism also often relies on charismatic leaders who display strongman-type leadership appeals alongside emotional appeals to capture voters. Populists also often claim to offer simple solutions to complex policy problems. This makes populist politicians and political parties extremely appealing to voters. Before we dive deeper into populism, we need to make a really important distinction about different forms of populism. Most importantly, populism comes in many different forms, on both the left wing and the right wing of the political spectrum. Radical right-wing populism focuses on immigration. Populist radical right parties in Europe tend to outline how white majority populations in society are under direct threat from non-white majority populations. Anti-immigration forms a key policy platform for the populist radical right in Europe, particularly their opposition against the recent influx of Muslim populations into Europe. Many populist radical right parties in Europe are scared at what they see as the rapid pace of change of immigration across Europe. These parties tend to criticize their governments for letting in too many immigrants, and they believe that international organizations, such as the European Union, are weakening their country's ability to control their own destinies. Examples of notable radical right-wing parties in Europe include the League Party in Italy, led by Matteo Salvini, and the Brothers of Italy party, led by the current Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. The National Rally Party in France, led by Marine Le Pen, the Alternative for Germany party, the Party for Freedom in the Netherlands, led by Geert Wilders, Fidesz in Hungary, led by current Prime Minister Viktor Orban, and the Freedom Party of Austria, amongst many more. In contrast, radical left populism is a completely different form of populism. This form of populism focuses on economic issues, such as on reducing income inequality or adopting an anti-capitalist agenda in seeking to redistribute wealth from the top to the bottom in society and create a fairer, more egalitarian society overall. European politics has been completely and utterly transformed over the last 2 decades. It used to be the case that most populist radical right-wing parties were on the margins of politics and polling in single digits, with barely any representation in their national parliaments. Fast forward to 2024, and nearly all of the 27 EU member states have populist radical right-wing parties performing strongly in national parliamentary elections. Countries such as Italy, Hungary, Poland and Austria have seen the radical right forming governments, and in the case of Hungary and Poland, shaping the whole of the public policy agenda and completely dominating the political landscape. A more concerning trend in European politics has been the mainstreaming of radical right language by mainstream centre-right conservative parties. These parties have sought to completely move further right on the immigration issue during the 2008-13 economic crisis in Europe and the recent 2015-18 EU refugee crisis. They're trying to reduce the electoral threat posed by the radical right with such a strategy. Therefore, far-right populist parties are no longer on the fringes. These parties have gone from the margins to the mainstream.